Have you ever wondered why people sometimes react in strange or unexpected ways when they are under stress? Someone might blame others for their mistakes, pretend a problem does not exist, or escape into their imagination. Psychology helps us understand these reactions by studying how the human mind works and how people cope with emotional pressure. One of the most influential explanations of these behaviors comes from psychoanalytic theory, which explores how unconscious thought and internal conflict shape our actions, especially when we experience anxiety or stress. The concept of defense mechanisms comes from psychoanalytic theory, developed by Sigmund Freud. Freud believed that much of human behavior is influenced by thought, memories, and desires that exist in the unconscious mind, meaning people are not always aware of them. He compared the human mind to an iceberg. The small visible part above water represents the conscious mind, which includes thoughts we are aware of, while the much larger part below the surface represents the unconscious mind, where hidden memories, emotions, and impulses are stored. Even though we are not aware of these unconscious thoughts, they can strongly influence our behavior and reaction to stressful situations. Freud also proposed that personality is made up of three interacting parts: the id, the ego, and the superego. The id is the most basic and primitive part of the mind and is present from birth. It operates according to the pleasure principle, seeking immediate satisfaction of biological needs and desires such as hunger, thirst, and other instinct. The superego represents the moral standards and social rules that we learn from parents and society, guiding our sense of right and wrong. On the other hand, ego acts as a mediator between the id and the superego. It operates according to the reality principle, trying to satisfy the id desires in ways that are acceptable to the superego and realistic in the real world. When these parts of the personality comes into conflict, the individual experiences anxiety or stress, and the ego may use the defense mechanism to protect the person from emotional discomfort. Freud believed that human behavior is strongly influenced by biological and social motivations. Two of the most powerful biological drives, according to Freud, are sexuality and aggression. Sexuality represents life instincts and the drive for survival, reproduction, and pleasure, while aggression represents destructive impulses and the release of anger or frustration. These biological drives interact with the expectations and rules of society, which can create internal conflict within the mind. Freud also emphasized that early childhood experiences are extremely important in shaping personality. According to his theory, experiences during the early stage of life plays a major role in influencing behavior, emotional development, and relationship later in adulthood. To study the unconscious mind and uncover hidden conflicts, Freud developed several methods of investigation and therapy. One of these methods was hypnosis, where patients were placed in a relaxed, trance-like state so they could recall thoughts or memories that were normally hidden from conscious awareness. Another important method was free association, in which patients were encouraged to say whatever came to their mind without censoring their thoughts. Freud believed that this process allowed unconscious feeling and ideas to surface. He also used dream analysis because he believed that dreams were a way for the unconscious mind to express hidden desires, fears, and conflicts through symbols and images. When conflicts between the id, ego, and superego creates anxiety, the mind may use defense mechanisms to reduce stress and protect the individual from emotional pain. One of the most common defense mechanisms is repression. where the mind pushes painful or disturbing memories into the unconscious mind so that the person does not have to deal with them directly. Then we have denial. Denial occurs when someone refuses to accept reality because it's too difficult or threatening to face. Then we have projection. Projection happens when a person attributes their own unwanted thoughts or feelings to someone else. Another defense mechanism is displacement, where emotions are redirected from their original source of stress to a safer or less threatening target. For example, someone who is angry at their teacher or boss might release that frustration on a friend or a family member. Regression, on the other hand, occurs when a person returns to a behavior associated with an earlier stage of development during stressful situations such as sulking, withdrawing, or acting childlike when faced with pressure. Some defense mechanisms involve changing how we think about situation. Rationalization occurs when a person creates logical explanation to justify failures or mistakes in order to protect their self-esteem. On the other hand, sour grapes is a type of rationalization where a person convinces themselves that something they could not achieve was not valuable anymore for them. And then we have reaction formation that occurs when someone behaves in the opposite way of their true feelings, such as acting overly friendly towards someone they secretly dislike. Another defense mechanism is fantasy, where a person escapes from stressful situation by imagining success, happiness, or power. Fantasy can provide temporary emotional relief, but if used too often, it may prevent individuals from facing real challenges and solving problems effectively. Overall, defense mechanisms show how the human mind attempts to protect itself from anxiety and emotional conflict. While they can temporarily reduce stress, they may also distort reality if relied on too heavily. Understanding psychoanalytic theory and defense mechanism helps psychologists and individuals recognize how people cope with emotional pressure and internal conflict, and it helps individuals develop healthier ways to manage stress and improve their mental well-being. So this was all in this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. If you need extra help for any grade, please contact us on our email address for more information. Thank you very much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, stay healthy and eat healthy.